Okay, what is up, roll coverage? I am your host, Nick. Hopefully, you are ready for a positive video. I would say so. These are my top four. I'm going to be honest, just people I'm excited about to play for my Carolina Panthers this year. Right here, let's go.
Hey, I thought it was all over.
Nope. They roll coverage.
Okay, so you obviously come to roll coverage, and your host, Nick, here, for a little bit of the cynical side of the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to give it to you the way that I feel like is the truth, and I'm always going to be honest with you. Again, I'll always stand 10 toes down. Roll coverage will always stand for sports sake, because I only care about talking sports. We don't need a reason. Now, on to my top four Carolina Panthers players that I am most looking forward to playing this year. And to be honest, we're just going to do it in reverse order, make it nice and easy. Number 4. Okay, number 4 is going to be an interesting one. A lot of people are going to say it is way too low, but I am very excited for the next iteration of Derek Brown. Derek Brown, of course, has been a stout defensive tackle for us and has, of course, come away with a few sacks as well. This season, he will have a lot on his shoulders, given the very depleted pass rush. And even when they get healthy, still a very subpar pass rush. Evero is going to really have his work cut out for him. And not only on top of that, the defense, I feel like, is going to suffer because we can't generate a pass rush. It's going to test our secondary more, and I believe our secondary is going to suffer, even if we were to get Gilly Lock, of course. But can he do more? I mean, I think that DJ Wanham, Klassen, of course, Trevin Wallace in the draft, Chow Smith-Wade in the secondary, there could be some pieces that could give a breather. But to be honest, he will 100% be able to hold down the run for the most part. I'm just very curious how many people are going to scheme around Derek Brown to still enhance their run, and are we going to be able to stop it? That's going to be obviously an interesting one. Derek Brown, obviously, last season set a record. Pretty solid, though. And not only that, he's also been paid. So with all of that, we are doubling down on Derek Brown. And again, I think he's great. I'm super excited he's on our team. In my opinion, he's our best defensive player by far. But that's only because we haven't gotten to number 3 yet. This one's an easy one for me. Josie Jewell. I mean, I'm sorry. We lost Brian Burns. We lost Frankie Louvu. We've lost Yatir Gross-Matos. We are in an interesting place now. A place where Josie Jewell is not only going to be asked to play zone coverage, maybe play man on a few guys, but he's also going to be asked to occasionally rush the passer. I'm absolutely going to say that. If we don't, then we're just not utilizing him the way that he should be used. He is a good coverage back, so again, in zone, I think that'll help us out. And again, we need that great guy right over the middle, so that should be him. Whether or not he's going to be able to do that in this system, given the ability for them to be able to bomb it on our secondary or run it up the middle by scheming around Brown, that is really going to be the deciding factor for the defense. Now, obviously, 4 and 3 are both defensive players. Now, 1 and 2 on this list are offensive players. Now, before I push forward, I must say that I believe that Derek Brown and Josie Jewell's overall season will hinge on each other. If Derek Brown is able to get pass rush, get pressure, get into the backfield just on occasion, it might be enough, given the other pieces, to have a semi-decent pass rush. And by semi-decent, I mean 25 instead of 31 or 32. Our 3 and our 4, both defensive players, Josie Jewell and Derek Brown. But now it's time to move into that number 2 spot, and that number 2 spot is going to be an interesting one, especially if you're a fan of roll coverage and myself over here. You will know that I am not really too high on this draft bus. I think that Dan Morgan might have been a little bit over his skis getting this GM position, and I think it could be a little bit of a poison pill in there to hurt Dave Canales down the road by not having great people drafted. Now, can XL, can Brooks, or can Sanders elevate and move to the next level? Oh, of course. I have no doubt. Absolutely. But at the same time, we're really hoping, we're really betting, and that's kind of what we did again with Chow Smith-Wade and Trevin Wallace. And of course, Michael Barrett in the 7th round. So there's an interesting dichotomy to the whole thing. But number 2 is actually Jatavian Sanders. The reason why I feel like Jatavian Sanders is going to be so crucial is my personal philosophy. Again, this is me putting him there, and I will give you the reason why. Our current depth chart has Tommy Tremble as the 1, Sanders as the 2, and of course Ian Thomas as the 3. Now, in order for a great younger player to do well, he needs a really dominant tight end. What does Brock Purdy have? George Kittle. What did Stroud have last year? Pretty sure he had, oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking. You know what? We're going to look it up right now. I'm not even going to take this out. This is going to be in the video. I'm pretty sure they still have him. Dalton Schultz. Okay, I was thinking of somebody else, Dalton. Okay, so Dalton Schultz. That's a great. Brady had Gronk later in his career, or at least a little bit later. So I think that really dominant tight end, receiving tight end especially, is going to help. And then, of course, you go to the one that's dominating the league right now, and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. So Jatavian Sanders needs to bulk up a little bit, but he really needs to be a primary pass catcher. And, of course, use Thomas and Tremble to help with the blocking scheme, essentially. But our tight end number 1 should be Sanders. Bryce needs somebody that he knows he can get the ball to, great reach, great cone of ability to get the ball, and, of course, great speed. So I think I kind of just gave you number 1. Number 1 is Bryce Young. Okay? If, as a Carolina Panthers fan, we want to succeed, I need to see Bryce Young north of 27 touchdowns. Okay? I don't care if it's exactly 27, to be honest. If he's 27-9, 27-10, I'm happy. We are making the progress moving forwards, even if it doesn't come in the win column. Bryce Young last year had a head coach that was, to be honest, not really available. From all the reports that we've seen, shout out to Jordan Cork. Shout out to a bunch of people that have constantly been reporting on things that have gone on. But Frank Reich was really behind the 8 ball in week 1. We heard it in week 3 that he didn't like the meetings and how people were being treated and what was happening behind the scenes. Only down the road to have the Hunger Games article come out and state that all of the coaches behind the scenes were against him. So Dave Canales doesn't have that this year. Bryce Young doesn't have this year. Bryce Young has a coaching staff that has worked together. We've seen the praise coming from Baker Mayfield stating that Canales and Brad Idzik are a great fit for each other. So overall, I think we are at a point where, as a Carolina Panthers fan, you just have to hope and pray. I'm waiting for week 1, but I'm also dreading it. If we go out there and have a subpar offense after getting an offensive head coach, offensive weapons, the whole 9, retooling for Bryce Young, we're going to be in trouble. Now, Derek Brown and Josie Jewell come out there, we might be able to squeak out some extra wins. And of course, if Sanders comes out there and has a great rookie season, something to a Laporta, then we will absolutely be in the running for, I hope, at least 6 wins. But at the same time, Derek Brown is number 4, Josie Jewell is number 3, Jatavian Sanders is number 2, and Bryce Young is number 1. That is my top 4 reasons to look positive to the year. I think that Bryce Young will take the step forwards. I think that Sanders coming in there can give Bryce the ability to get out of those bad situations quickly. So that will be a great benefit on the offensive side. And of course, Jewell and Derek being able to get pressure or just being able to break up some passes or something like that. So we're in an interesting spot. I'm not going to lie. I side with Dan Orlovsky in that we can't evaluate Bryce Young until 2025. So we just need to go out there. We need to get some wins. We need to revitalize the fan base. And at the same time, we also need to just continually make steps forward. Regardless, though, my name is Nick. This has been Roll Coverage. If you haven't followed us, make sure you do. Make sure you check out all of our other content, including our shorts content, which is blowing up. I cannot thank you enough. Again, my name is Nick. This is Roll Coverage. Hopefully you have a great rest of the day. Peace.